Good, how are you?
Good. It's such an awesome pleasure having you here, and we're going to be talking about the DimeVision Volume 2 after such a huge success of Volume 1.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I want to ask, Matt, off the top of the bat here, how much time did this one take compared to the first DimeVision?
I would say this one was more. I think this one actually might have went a little quicker than the first one. The first one, we were all still in that sad state of mind, and it was just tough to work on it for any amount of time. You know, the second one here, once we got cleared from Metal Blade in 2016, we pretty much got it done with in less than a year. You know, we got our deal done with them, and then we just started working on it. I had a bunch of previous footage all ready to go, so I had like 43 hours of footage to choose from. Yeah. And in all that, I've narrowed it down to the hour that it is, or the 72 minutes. So yeah, it didn't take too long. I'd say less than a year. You know, a little bit quicker than the first one.
Yeah, and was there anything that you wanted to add into DimeVision Volume 2, but you just couldn't quite cut it due to timing or resources?
Yeah, actually. Yeah. We were kind of on a time restraint, you know. Believe me, I could search and I could work on this thing for 2 or 3 years, because there's a lot of good stuff that didn't make it. But that's why we have a series, you know, and you know, DimeVision 3 will be done hopefully within a couple years, you know. So it's all there, and we're gonna get it all out. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were a few things here and there that I wanted to get in there but didn't. But in my thinking, I was just thinking that, hey, we'll just use it in the third one, so, or the fourth or whatever. So there you go, you know.
Yeah. I had Vinnie Paul on a couple of years ago when I was interviewing him through Hell Yeah, and one of the questions I asked him due to Pantera was, would there ever be a chance for them to re-release the Pantera era before Cowboy from Hell as a like a remaster type of catalog? And he said, not really. He hasn't really thought about it. But with all the demos and that you picked,
yeah.
How far back in the catalogue did you go back to grab those things?
You know, it's kind of like the videotapes, you know. We grab what we had in front of us without searching too hard, you know. So we would, there was, they were all pretty much available right there in the closet. So we just grabbed a box and started going through one. And you know, by the end of the day, probably we had 3 of the songs ready to go, and then we just tried to find a couple more, you know, for 5 songs, and it didn't take long, and we didn't like try to go back far. We just had them all in one spot.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a ton of those too. There's a ton of 4 tracks too. So, you know, we had a lot to choose from, and we just picked the ones that were more ready to be shown to the world, I guess you would say. So the more just the better ones.
Yeah.
In the stack that we had, but there's a lot more. So, you know, we didn't like dig far back or anything like that. We just actually got a CD case, and there it was, you know, out of this box, and.
Yeah.
And there was probably 400 songs in there, so, you know, we just picked 5 of them and went from there.
And for the diehard of Pantera, let's talk about Dimebag for a second. He was such a unique type of human being, not just on stage, but off stage as well. Off stage, he was more down to earth. He was just your normal human guy. He liked to, document his life on a video camera. He loved to have a drink. He loved to have a laugh. He loved to crack a joke on somebody else as well, like play a prank on somebody else as well. But for you, Bobby, I want to ask, what did Dimebag mean to you personally? Because you've known him for such a long, long time.
Yeah. Well, everything you just said for sure, and he was a mentor to me, and he taught me a lot about video, about photography, a lot about people. He taught me a lot of the way I live now. I met him when I was still a teenager, and he was just very unique, and he did things differently than the rest of the world, and it was, he meant a whole hell of a lot to me. Obviously, he's a best friend, and like I said, he taught me a lot of what I know. So he just taught me to live to the fullest and try to document things along the way, which I have been with other bands and everything else for my whole life. So yeah, he taught me a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff.
Yeah,
he taught me a lot about people and the way people are, and a lot about just everything in general.
And it was such a tragedy how he did die at the end there. But as saying that, are you bit taken back by the former members of Pantera with the downfall of themselves arguing, or not just arguing, but trying to destroy the legacy, so to speak? I mean, I know that Rex had just released an autobiography and so forth, but for what I'm trying to get is, we saw such a brotherhood rising up in the ranks of their music and their career, until such a tragedy occurred with Dimebag. It basically takes the shine off the band for what they were, because I know a lot of fans are asking, will there ever be a reunion, and will they ever get back together with perhaps Zakk Wylde being on the guitar and that. But are you taken a little bit aback from that? And also, the second part is, was there any animosity from the band to hold you back to do the project that you want to do, which is Dimebag, not Dimebag, but DimeVision?
For the first part of it, let me think here. They definitely didn't hold me back on anything. Vinny's 100% for it, and the other guys too. Everybody misses Daryl, and everybody wants to see these memories for sure. Yeah. But as far as Pantera and the band, it was just all that happened just at a bad time in everybody's life, Yeah. They were doing the Damage Plan thing, and Phil and Rex were doing their own thing, and it just came at a bad time, I'm sure if that wouldn't have happened, I'm 99% sure that the band would have got back together and done some more stuff eventually. And, as far as the animosity between everybody and the reunion, I don't see it happening, because it would never be Pantera without Daryl. And as far as the animosity, I don't think it's that steep anymore. I mean, it's just one of those things. It just happened at the wrong time when people weren't talking to each other, and that's how it went down, And as far as the luster of the band, I don't think it takes away from any of that, because the music's there, it's written in stone, and our videos are out there, and it was a brotherhood, and it always will be, especially to the fans.
Yeah. And perhaps, from my standpoint of it all, it was such a tragedy how Dimebag life ended and that, but it also ended such a band from the 90s, a huge band in the 90s, even though they were around before the 90s, Pantera, but it just put a stop to everything. Even Damage Plan as well, even though that was a side project, but they wanted to continue on a different direction from what was going on at the time. But it's just amazing how one tragic event just stopped everything. And now that we may never get to hear any new material, or we might, like lately we have been hearing some unreleased stuff on the band or the record label has been remastering and reissuing as a celebration, like a 20th anniversary of an album or something like that. But it just goes to show that just one tragic event just puts a stop to everything, and it's very, very drawn upon not just myself but fans of Pantera throughout the entire globe, how much Dimebag was respected, and it was just a tragic event. Yeah,
it put a stop to the music, that's for sure. But we have all this video that we filmed throughout the Pantera career and throughout Daryl's life that I filmed a lot of, and we still have that, and that's what we're focusing on for the DimeVision 2 and future projects, So we still have video, and that's a good thing, because there's audio, video, shenanigans, everybody in the band, So yeah, we have that. And those memories will last forever when people see them.
Yeah. I mean, the good thing about Dimebag, every time I saw him on stage or saw some footage of Dimebag, he looks like Animal from the Muppets with the hairdo. But when you look at his 3/4 length shorts that he wears, he just looks like an average kid that hasn't even grown up yet, because once you put a guitar around his neck, he's just his own weapon of mass destruction. He plays that with the whammy bars. He holds that note. He just turns into a complete dynamic of a person. It's a bit like watching Eddie Van Halen from Van Halen, even though Dimebag worshipped him as well. But once you put that guitar in his hand, he will make that thing talk, and it was just unbelievable.
Oh yeah, he did. I mean, every night before the show, just when he'd strap it on and watching him warm up every night, I just get goosebumps,
Yeah.
Get warming up, doing some, just warming up. He'd do a few scales here and there, but mostly just jamming with the music that was playing. And, goosebumps. And then I got to see it live every night, and I'd continue to get goosebumps, so I was lucky enough to get to see that every night. And it's truly amazing. Everything you said right there is 100% the truth,
Yeah. So with DimeVision 2, roll with it or get rolled over.
Yeah.
Did you want to bring anyone into to do the packaging that you wanted? Was there any such a game plan that you wanted to bring in to make it more polished than part one? I know part one was just the start of it, and part two was like a sequel to it all. Yeah. But did you want to bring anyone in to work with to recollect things, or did you already have that information already there just to put into the catalogue?
No, we didn't really bring anybody extra into it. I mean, Metal Blade released it for us, and they helped us with the artwork. But we got all the artwork together ourselves, and all of our ideas and all the photos and the way we wanted everything packaged. And Metal Blade worked with us really well with everything. We gave them our ideas for artwork, and we went back and forth, until we got it right. And we got it right, and all the photos we supplied, but yeah, Metal Blade was awesome with everything. So it was a good collaboration, and yeah, we wanted to make it a little more, just to give everybody a little extra on this one, with the songs and with the packaging and with the deluxe edition. So yeah, we wanted to give people more.
Yeah,
for sure.
And working with Rita, which is Dimebag's long-term girlfriend, how's the relationship with that with you? Did you guys just basically had a game plan that all the collection that you had over the years, was it so easy to work with Rita with that? Because when you go to the house where Dimebag used to live, they open their doors to people, and that's the community of where they are, that they open their doors and they want to show what Dimebag really means to the world, and you also. But how was it like working with Rita this time around?
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah.
I've known her pretty much since I've known Daryl, so long time, and she's always been around when he was alive, and even afterwards, and so we just we can't let any of this stuff just go to waste when the fans want to see this stuff. But it's not really for us, it's more for them, and it's therapeutic for us working on it too. But with Rita, yeah, it was awesome. We edited a lot over at Daryl's house when we did this, and that was probably the best part of the editing that we did was over there. And we worked on it a little bit in LA at Rita's place and back and forth. But yeah, it's awesome. We both know what these tapes mean, and we take great care in working with anything of Daryl's, and we just want to make sure and keep his memory alive, and I know the fans out there just want to see it. So we have a great working relationship, and that's what we do, and we're going to continue that.
Yeah. So, just to the fans out there, how much the sensitive stuff of the filming, because the Dimebag has another side of him as well, that he's very, very emotional, and he really does have some of those moments in his life. Just want to tell the fans, were there really some touching, deep, heavy, emotional moments in this one compared to the first one that you did?
Yeah. I think the opening is pretty much as emotional as it gets. What he says in the beginning, let's take a look at it, and my crazy life and all that good stuff. That was pretty emotional. That gave me goosebumps when I first looked at it and got it edited together like that. But there's more of that stuff, But like I said, I didn't want this one to be like a sad tribute type of thing, because he wouldn't have wanted that. We already did the tribute kind of, the slower, sadder type of thing with the first one, and the second one I wanted to make it just more like he would have done it himself in his vision, like he was still here and just went crazy with it, so yeah. But yeah, he was a very emotional person, just like all of us, I think, and yeah, you can see some of that in DimeVision too, but most of it is in the archives, and you'll probably see a little bit more of it in future DVDs.
But yeah, everyone has their emotional side too, and
yeah.
But for what we can gather, especially the fans, Dimebag just loved to have a laugh, and that might be his way to deal with things, just to have a laugh. But if you really do know him personally and privately, that emotional side of him, he can be very passionate and focused on what he really wants, and nothing will get in his way. But
That's true.
with everything else that goes around, he's just your natural, like I said before, he's just your natural rounded guy. He just basically took the balls in his hand and ran with it, and that's what he was, basically.
Yeah, you said it all right there. That's the truth.
Yeah.
He's a pretty amazing guy, you know, and when he set his mind to something, he got it done however he wanted to, and nothing ever stood in his way. I mean, ever, really.
Yeah.
You know,
I do.
An amazing person.
Yeah. I do want to say this. There were some added tracks or demos in this second Dimebag Vision. DimeVision. It's a 4-track for a reason, and I just want to say to the fans, no, these are no lost Pantera tracks. These songs were written by Dimebag himself, and it was dated. It dated everything he recorded as well. But I want to ask as well. Did the songs come off this time round? Was it more entertainment to him, or was it more than the inspiration that he got, especially one that was inspired by George Michael's solo recording coming back out of the 80s?
Yeah.
So,
he would just go.
Yeah, so I just want to ask, was this more of a what can I say? Was this more of a stamp for Dimebag, or was it more of a stamp for his own inspiration?
Well, he would be inspired by anything that happened during the day, and for me and him, a lot of the times we'd go out and get lunch, and we'd see something funny or start writing a 4-track, and come home and drink beer and just sit there in front of the 4-track and do it. So just everyday life inspired him to write these things. I mean, everything, from checking out at a grocery store to, going out and drinking at a club or whatever, everything inspired him to write. And, it was pretty much a part of everyday life, He'd come home, write a 4-track, do some shots, hang out with friends, and get everybody involved.
Yeah.
So it's more a dime thing, It's definitely not I know you didn't say that, but it's definitely not a Pantera thing. But, I mean, he would do that too, of course, but that's all totally different, But yeah, I mean, he was inspired by everything around him.
Yeah.
He had the vision, and he saw, like the cover suggests, Daryl is the all-seeing eye.
Yeah.
And everything that he saw throughout life, even if it was just something as silly as a baby crying in the grocery store or what have you, some things just inspired him to write, and everything. He saw it all. So lots of inspiration from just everyday things.
And it just goes to show that Dimebag will also be at the bar. If there's a band playing, like a new band playing in the bar, he'll make sure you go down and see it, and he'll be at the bar drinking his drink of choice, the whiskey, as well. Yeah. But he's more of a fan than anything. He's a fan of music, and some of the inspiration that he has is phenomenal. It'll be less of field than what he actually played, especially what I mentioned, like George Michael. He liked that, but more importantly, it just goes to show that he was a fan of music, not just a genre of music.
Right. Yeah. He would definitely check it all out.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, when he'd be at a bar or something, he'd always wind up on stage, playing a song with the band or whatever, local bands.
Yeah.
Anything. Yeah. And he'd buy him shots and, all the good stuff.
Yeah. And just one final question, because the time's running out. Thanks to the record label for giving me this as well. But can you don't have to answer this question, but I'll ask you anyway. Will you hint a third part for DimeVision, or is that too early to say right now?
The plan is, yes, we're going to go ahead with it. I mean, it all depends on, if the label's going to want to put another one out, or if we have to find somebody else, or, it just depends on how well this one really does. So that's going to give us, we're going to do it one way or the other, We did our pledge campaign for a reason, so that's to work on future DimeVision projects. So either way, it'll get out there somehow. Yep. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's what we're working towards for sure.
Well, fans, if you haven't bought myself a Christmas present, or more importantly, if you haven't bought yourself a Christmas present already, get the DimeVision Volume 2, which is out now in all your record labels and all your record stores around the world. Give me one. I've already got one, but if you want to get me another one, please do. But I'll thank you all your gifts willingly as well. But Bobby, I want to say thank you for joining me, and hopefully the fans can grab this if they haven't got it already. Grab it for Christmas, because this is a really treat. If you like Volume 1, you're definitely going to love Volume 2. And I want to say thank you, Bobby, for joining me, and I want to look forward to speaking to you again in the near future.
Yes, sir, for sure. Thank you so much, Jamie.
Thank you.
And thanks to all you fans down there. I love Australia, and we love you, so thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You take care. Thank you.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.